Hello book lovers and welcome to the Garden of Books. Today I'll be talking about Once from Morris Gleitzman. This book actually has a silver award from the Children's Book Council of Australia. So as you can imagine, it is a very good book and therefore I will be talking about it. It's also the first book in a 6-part series. Okay, so what is this book? This book is a novel about a young Jewish boy growing up in the 1930s in a Catholic orphanage in the German mountains. This boy has 2 secrets. So one is that his parents are still alive, and 2 is that he's Jewish, which the other children didn't know. So his parents told him, when they left him, that they were going to find more books, as they owned a bookshop, and they promised him that one day they would send a message when they would collect him. The young boy Felix thought he'd got the message because a whole carrot was in his soup. So he decided to leave the orphanage in search of his parents. But he didn't know of the terrors of the outside world, the Nazi control and constant danger. On his journey he meets several people, including Zelda, who he saved from a house fire, a German soldier with a toothache, and Barney the dentist. So as you can already tell from my introduction of my summary of the book, this book is set in the past during World War II, during the Nazi regime in the Holocaust. It's based on true life events, and Morris Gleitzman drew his inspiration from this book, from a Polish Jewish doctor called Janusz Korczak. Okay. So yeah, as I said, he's a Polish Jewish doctor, and he was also a children's author who devoted his life to caring for young people. Over the years, he helped run an orphanage for 200 Jewish children. In 1942, when the Nazis murdered these orphans, Janusz Korczak was offered his freedom but chose to die with the children rather than abandon them. So Janusz Korczak, for this reason, became a hero to the writer Morris Gleitzman, and he based his story off things that happened to Janusz Korczak, and if you read Once, there will be a character that is a doctor in this film, and that's the reference to Janusz Korczak. Okay, so this is a children and young adult fiction book that is based on true events. So in terms of writing style in this book, I couldn't find any problem with Morris's style of writing. Apart from maybe one thing which irked me a bit was that Zelda repeated the phrase, "What are you, stupid?" to Felix. I felt a bit too much, but nevertheless, I understand why Morris Gleitzman might have done it to emphasize that Zelda is a young child, and I guess that was her kind of catchphrase, but it still irked me a bit. However, Morris Gleitzman did a very good job with the naive perspective of Felix Morrison, which is the main character of this book, with Felix, sorry. And Morrison really brought across well how young and experienced this main character is. For example, I'll just take an example from the book. So Felix, at the beginning of this book, is praying to Adolf Hitler, which is ironic, as you might know, because Hitler is in charge of the Nazis who are slaughtering the Jews. However, he's taught, right, at a school how great Adolf Hitler is because of all this propaganda. And it's kind of heartbreaking then to see him connect the dots between the Nazis and Hitler and how Hitler might not be the person that he was led to believe, which shows his naivety. There's plenty of other examples in this book, and although it's written by an adult, it really seems you're looking through a young, naive child's eyes. So I would recommend this book for young adults, maybe not too young children, as it is quite a morbid story and it is set in the Holocaust, which was a rather gruesome event. I would recommend it if you've already studied World War II at school. Then feel free to read this book. Definitely would. What I like about this book is that Morrison takes you right through the Holocaust as a child, experiencing the events, rather than describing it from a kind of disconnected outside perspective. So reading this here actually really opened my eyes to horrors of the Holocaust. If you've studied World War II and haven't read this yet, definitely would recommend reading it. And if you enjoy it, there's 5 more books afterwards.